guys, Mrs. Talk Techie here. Thank you for joining me again on this Bitmoji journey. I'm nearing the end to Bitmoji, a comprehensive guide. I'm sorry for taking so long. It has been a labor of love and I do appreciate your patience. Hopefully you have been following along with the series as I'm completing a video. I'll still post it up. The entire final resource will be in the description of all the video series. So if you don't see it there, it's because I'm not done yet, but I will make sure, I promise that I'll post it in each individual video where you'll be able to grab a copy of that resource. So if you have been following along, the last video I created was Bitmoji and different ways that you can hyperlink your classrooms, the different uses of it. Now, with that said though, because there are so many different uses, you might find yourself at this point thinking, well, I have a Bitmoji classroom for this, one for a virtual library, one for a parent connection, one for a homework folder. And so then you're like, okay, well now I have like 6 or 7 links that I'm going to be giving to my parents and my kids. That might become a little overwhelming. I have the solution for that. It is Google Sites. Don't get scared. Yes, it is a website, but it works all from your drive. And I'm going to show you how easy it is and how all those virtual classrooms you created will be in one site. Therefore, one link will be shared to your parents and your kids. It works with Google Classroom as well. I'll be talking about all that. So thank you guys so much for joining me again. Let's keep going. So this is my Google Drive and I'm in the folder titled Virtual Classrooms. And notice I have 5 already. And I have other ideas for different virtual classrooms. So here's the thing. We don't want to bombard our kids with a ton of links. I would have to be sharing a link for each one of these. And if you're in the middle school setting, in the high school setting, you know our kids don't just have one teacher. So we want to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to access our work and our information. So I would highly recommend putting all this in a Google site. Now I'm going to do my best not to make this a lengthy tutorial. I don't want to make it a Google Sites tutorial. I just want to show you how easy you can add these to a Google website, all right? But with that said, I think it's important also to kind of show you how to navigate through it if it's your first time ever creating a Google site. So I'm going to do my best to try to keep it as short and concise as possible, but still giving you enough information and paying attention to the big parts of what makes up a Google site. So let's check it out here, guys. The first thing is from here, you can actually go and create a new site. You can click on New, More, Google Sites. However, I like to go to sites.google.com, and from here, I'm going to create my Google site. You can always similarly do this and type out slides.google.com and you're going to get all the slides you've created. Here's my mock site I just created. So I do want to show you that just so that you have an idea of what we're going to do. So this is just an example. Like I mentioned, it's a mock site. So bear with me, but I did want to showcase the final product or how it would look if you were to create your own and add your virtual classrooms. Here, you would have this, your Meet the Teacher, depending on how you want to organize it. This is like the front page. And so right now I'm on computer mode, so you can actually preview and see how it would look on a phone. So this is how the kids would see it on their phone or how they would see it like on a tablet. So let's go back to desktop view. And so here, the parent connection, I would be adding this to the site as well, the main page, because this is like their go-to page, their home page. And then the rest and relaxation and reflection room. Now, after this, up here, you can choose to put the navigation toolbar at the top, or you can put it on the left-hand side as well. And I'll show you that feature in a little bit once we get into it. But here I put lessons, and here is my first lesson. Now, the cool thing is that the website is interactive. So here, if I do click on this one, it'll take me to that Flipgrid video. And if I keep scrolling, now the links are interactive. So let's talk about it. This is our lesson cycle. They would have it here. I could click here, complete our taco strategy, click on the home button. This won't be there because I'm under the view mode, but you won't have this, the kids won't have this little navigation toolbar here. All of this is hyperlinks, so they can click on them and they'll be able to go through the entire lesson cycle to the point where they get to the closure. Now we go back to home and we can go to maybe their homework folder, which is another page within the Google site. So here's the homework folder and they can scroll through it or they can click on it and click on the videos here as well. So everything is interactive. So FYI, just letting you know, it all works that way. So I'm going to go back home and that is the Google site. So I'm going to hopefully show you as quick as possible how easy it is to create this, because the beauty about creating a site, a Google site, is that it works from your drive. So everything you have in your drive, you can easily upload here, just like you saw our virtual classrooms. In addition to that, you also have the options of getting stuff that's online. So if you have like a YouTube video, if you have a website that you want to share on here, you can do that. And of course, if you have stuff on your desktop, you can easily upload it as well. So we're back at sites.google.com. And I want to show you, we can go to the template gallery and choose any of these templates or create one from scratch. I like to choose the templates. It just makes things easier because all you have to do after that is literally plug in your information. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one, which is the one I just showed you right now, education class. So the purpose is to show you how to add all your virtual classrooms to one site. I will, though, show you a couple little tips, tricks, things like that, but nothing too lengthy. And I apologize for that, but I want to try to keep it as short as possible. So there are 3 different locations that you need to title your page. So here, here, and here. So I'm going to go ahead and title it. So now that I added the names up here, guys, just FYI, you've got an undo, a redo. This is the preview mode. So just like I was showing you earlier, if you want to see how your work is progressing in the student view, so on a cell phone, on a desktop, or like a tablet, you can click there. This link will become active, and this is the one you're going to share out to your kids and your parents. This one will become active as soon as you publish your site. If you want to add collaborators to help you keep up with the site, you can add them here. Just keep in mind that they won't be able to do anything to the virtual classrooms as far as edit them unless they have access to those. I hope that made sense. And settings here as well. So here real quick on settings, if you notice when I showed you the preview one, the mock one, the navigation bar, I had it at the top. You can have it on the side as well. The colors, if you want to mess with the colors, brand images. Notice I had a little bumblebee. That's where you would do this. Especially the icon. So things like that. This is actually new. The announcement banner is new. So you can actually show an announcement at the top. So if our kids are constantly going into the site, at one point it's going to start becoming like the same thing, like they're seeing the same thing. So if you want an announcement really quick there, you can actually turn this on and add an announcement that they'll see as soon as they click on that link for that website. So anyways, these are just a couple little extra things for you guys to look at later on once you get, more accustomed to it. Over here, guys, this is your main creation hub right here. So anytime you want to add more text aside from what's on the template, you can click text, images, you can embed sites, you can grab your stuff from the drive, and you can change the layout. And there's some other formatting tools here as well. You want to add another page like we showed you earlier when you're going to have like a table of contents. You can add the pages here. So if you want to add, then you would click here. If you want to remove pages, then these 3 little dots, this one won't let you because it's the main page. So once we do have it, you click on the 3 little dots right here and you'll be able to see the remove page here as well. And of course, themes if you want to change it up a bit. Now, these same features right here, guys, if you double click anywhere here on the site, you'll get that also. It's kind of like a little shortcut. So FYI, if you see me working off of that, it's really the same thing. I just double clicked. All right. So a couple of navigation features over here on the left-hand side. If you hover over it, you can easily change that image that we have of the two little girls. You can change it up. This can be your Bitmoji banner. You can change it. You can create something on Google Drawings. You can put it there as well, so you can add all of your little Bitmojis. The header type can be changed as well. So if you want this large banner, or if you just wanted to have the title, it's up to you. So the customization, there's a lot of ways you can customize this. And then of course, once you have this, for example, here, this could be a division. You can choose to remove it. It's up to you. So if you want to change up the color, if you want to duplicate this section, or if you want to delete it. So the first thing is I'm going to add a title to this one, because this one's going to be right underneath this. I'm going to add the Meet the Teacher virtual classroom. So I'm going to format it to put it in the middle. I want it to have the title text, and it'll say Meet the Teacher. So there we go, and it's ready to go. Here, I can add a little overview of what my class is, what some expectations, whatever it may be. So the next thing is I'm going to directly add my virtual classroom here. So I'm going to grab it from my Drive. I'm going to use this feature right here. So I'm going to click on Drive. It's going to open up my Drive. I'm going to click on virtual classrooms and find it. And here it is. And now that I've selected it, I'm going to insert. So now that it's here, it inserts as preview mode. So you don't have to mess with anything. The only thing you do have to mess with, guys, is the settings. So at the end of it, you have to think of two sharing settings. The sharing settings that you have on your virtual classroom, and the one that you have for your Google site. So if you want your Google site to only be limited to the kids in your school with that domain, then you have to make sure that you fix those Google settings. If you're okay with anyone accessing this, then you change those settings as well. But that's going to apply to your virtual classrooms as well. Or else once you publish it, you're going to get your website, but it's going to have the request for access page on there. So just keep those things in mind. Now that you have it here, guys, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. I don't want this division here. I don't want this one either. And I can grab the corners and I can actually pull them if I want this to be a larger image on there. So it's pulling, and my computer's lagging a bit, so I apologize for that. And there we go. And so I'm pretty comfortable with that right there and how it looks. And once you do publish it, these are hyperlinked. So if they click here, it'll be hyperlinked. If they click on this little icon, it'll be hyperlinked as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. So the next thing is, let's say we want the color to match this. So I can go here and add it right there. And because the color is automatically there because it's part of the theme. So that's my first virtual classroom. I'm going to show you how we can add now the parent connection classroom. So I'm going to delete this. I don't need that. I want to keep this color. So I'm going to delete these right here. And I have that color there. So I'm going to go back to my Drive. And now I'm going to look for my parent connection for my virtual classroom. And here it is. And I'm going to insert it. And I'm going to click on it and drag, and this is where I want it. So for some reason it didn't come out there. I'm deleting those things. See how easy it is to navigate through there? And what I missed was adding the title. So I'm going to click right here, title, format it a little bit, and put parent connection. And there you have it. Let's take a look at how it looks published. So I'm going to click here. And this is how they'd see it if they're on a desktop. So here it is. And here's the parent connection. I want to show you how they are hyperlinked. So if I click on this one right here, I actually hyperlinked it to my YouTube tutorial. So just FYI. And so now it's hyperlinked. So within that presentation, they can actually be interactively using it. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out and go back to the edit mode. And now I'm actually going to add a page. So I'm going to go to Pages here, and I'm going to go to the bottom here, and I'm going to add a page, and I'm going to title this page just something easy, Lessons. So I'm going to click on Done. And these are going to be all my lessons that I'm going to have. I can actually have all my classrooms here. You can also add subpages. So it's really up to you how you want to organize that. If we go to the right-hand side to the three little dots, I can actually add a subpage. So I can put this week 1. So lessons for week 1, or we can call it first 6 weeks. Or depending on what you use, units, eras, if you're in history, it just depends on how you organize your curriculum. So now that you have that, notice up here, guys, now my lessons has a little drop down because now I have first 6 weeks. I can actually continue doing this, but I'm not going to add another subpage to this subpage. I'm going to add it to the lessons subpage. To the lessons, I'm going to add a subpage, and I'm going to do second 6 weeks just because I want you guys to look at the kind of like a little bit of a whole picture of how things would look. So now I click on lessons, and these are my sub pages, and I can continue doing that. I want you guys to see something really quick. You can actually duplicate it. So before you actually mess with anything, if you have like a template that you're using for every 6 weeks, I would highly recommend make that template and then just duplicate it so that you don't have to redo it every time. So I'm going to duplicate the 5th 6 weeks and then just change the title, and there's your 6 weeks. And so now I have those there. All right, guys. Now, what if you don't want your table of contents to be up there? If I go to the settings here, I can go to navigation and I can actually change it to the side. So now notice they have to click on this to get that navigation. So it's really up to you. What do you think your kids will have, will make it easier for your students to go through? So let's go ahead and add one of my lessons here. Real simple, just like we did the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and click on Insert. I'm going to go to my Drive, and I'm going to go to Virtual Classrooms and find one of my lesson cycles. And so here is one of them. I'm going to insert. Now let me just show you something really quick. What if I don't want my kids for it to automatically start there? I can go to Settings right here, and I want it to actually start on slide 2. So I'm going to click on Done. Now it's going to start on this slide. So just another little tip here to help you guys out. So this is my lesson cycle. Now I want to show you this. I just added another page by just clicking on the plus button down here on the right hand side. And I inserted this virtual classroom, which is my take a break, rest, relax kind of classroom. One last thing I wanted to show before we actually get to publishing this is the Bitmoji Chrome extension. We can't drag directly to it, but what we can do, let's say I want to look for relax. And so I want to add this one where we're going to relax reading a book. I can't necessarily drag it down. It won't let me. But what I can do is I can right click and I can copy image address. And now that I copied the image address, I can double click here, go to embed by URL, paste that one, and insert. And so now I have it there. Now, yes, it's going to look huge like that. You just have to mess with those right there. I overdid it right there. But you can actually add your Bitmojis directly into it as well. So just a little FYI, just a little bit of an extra because I can't help myself. But anyways, you can also do that. So let's say we're ready to publish our site. The thing we're going to do is we're going to go to publish. So I made the mistake of publishing it the first time around. So now that I've republished it, it's giving me a before and after. So the one thing I did add, the change I made was I added this rest and relaxation and reflection room. So that's why you're able to see. And this is what they're going to give you. They're going to give you a before. So I didn't have that page before, and an after. Whatever you made changes on, you'll be able to see them here on the left-hand side. So it all looks good. I'm ready to publish. So I'm going to click on publish. And once it is published, you're going to notice that this link is going to be active now. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that link, click on it, copy the link. But notice, guys, we don't want to give this huge link to our parents. We want to make it a link that they're going to be able to, if they forget it, like if they don't have it on hand, they can remember what it is. So I highly recommend you either going to bit.do or bit.ly. So this is bit.do, and I absolutely love bit.do because it does a lot of things in one site. So it allows you to create a shortened link. You're able to customize the back end of that shortened link so that you can choose something that's more user-friendly, easier to remember for both your parents and your students, just in case they lose the paper of where you send it out. And also it creates a QR code for you, and you're able to track the analytics of that link and QR code, meaning you're going to be able to see how many times it's getting clicked on. So I think, to me, that's I'm a total data nerd, so I love knowing all of those things. So let's go ahead and paste the long URL, and there it is. And now I'm going to try to come up with something that is not taken yet. So the back end of that shortened link. So I'm going to look for, let's pretend our school is Jefferson High School, all caps, because this is cap sensitive. So I'm not a robot. And let's shorten it and hope that it's not taken. All right, it's not taken. So because it's not taken, now this is the link I'm going to share with my kiddos. This is the QR code as well. And once I click on this, all you have to do, guys, is once you have your link, you put a hyphen at the end, put it in the URL, you're going to be able to track those analytics of that link. So that's super, super easy. So here's a final view of what we just created, guys. And I know that it seemed like it took us forever here, but it really only was 20 minutes, and most of the time I was explaining stuff. So it's quite simple. Once you have your classrooms done, those are the hardest things because you want to customize them. And before you know it, you're working on super detailed virtual classrooms. But this is how easy it can be, guys. Now that you have it, I just want to show you a little bit. Of course, we have our Meet the Teacher, the parent connection. But if you look at the navigation here, we have a drop down with the 6 weeks. We have that take a break. If I go to that first 6 weeks, to that first lesson, and here's my lesson cycle, I can actually hyperlink and do the lesson cycle from here. Do the entire lesson from here. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to do my taco strategy. This one will take me to the flip grid assignment. If I click on the home button, here it is, so on and so forth, guys. It's actually quite easy and simple. I hope you guys like that. The final thing is, how can you add all of this to your Google Classroom? You can get this entire site and put this site, the link of this site, as an announcement in your Google Classroom and always pin it to the top. I'm going to go ahead and show you that, and that'll be the last thing because I hadn't planned for that, but I'm going to show it to you. So I'm going to go to classroom.google.com, and here's my practice class. So I can actually share it right here in the stream, and I can add my link to it. And there I've added it, and it says, here's our virtual classroom. I'm just going to go ahead and post it right there. And notice you always have the option here of moving to the top. Right now it's grayed out because it's literally at the top of everything. So every time they come in, they can see it on their stream, and I'll keep moving it and pinning it to the top so that they can access their work from there. Or if you're not a Google Classroom user, then of course you just share out that one link and they'll have access to everything. Guys, again, thank you for joining me on this journey because it has been a journey. I've been working on this nonstop. I appreciate all of your patience. Please know that it is coming soon, the resource. Once it's done, it'll be on every video on YouTube. I'll be adding it into every video description. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on every single platform, believe me. I have started a TikTok as well, I know, but it's all tech related, so you can find me on TikTok as well as Mrs. Talk Techie. Don't forget to like, guys, and share this out to teachers. The purpose of me creating this is so that I can somehow have some sort of impact on students outside of my classroom, outside of my district, outside of my state, or even outside of my country. So thank you, guys, and I would love to hear that this is making a difference in your classroom or to your students, because that's what's the most gratifying of doing this. That's where I get the most gratification. So thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell so that when I do upload new content every time, you'll get notified. Have a good one, guys. I love you guys. Thank you for watching.